Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I welcome back to my streaming. I have actually been a little bit away because I have mentioned last week. Sorry, give me a second. I've been a little bit away on a bit of a holiday to Mount Hotham, and that was really fun. I actually put out a video yesterday documenting my time there. It was really fun. So that was really nice. It was a nice getaway. Had a lot of fun. I don't know how to ski, so it was just a lot of tobogganing and eating and sleeping and relaxing, which was really nice to be able to do for a change. So yeah, um, and I also got right back from Mount Hotham. We covered pretty much the whole area, like Bright and Harrietville, that whole area. It was really nice to just be able to just explore the area and just walk around and eat some ice cream. I guess, yeah, I know it's winter, but I actually enjoyed doing that. And it was really good because on the way, it was a 7 hour drive back home, but I was super excited to be able to play Battlefield. So, um, I also, one of my mates told me that they're dropping more early access codes during the first 2 days of stream, like early access stream days. So, like 7th and 8th. And I couldn't bag an early access code last week, the week before. So, I was really keen to be able to get an early access code and jump right in. On 8th, I know it was just like a day early. I know, but I still wanted to get one, so I literally just did the whole 7 hour drive, jumped straight into Battlefield, and on the way home, I had my phone just on the side streaming, because the I think the requirement was to be able to stream for like an hour, um, like watch anyone who's streaming Battlefield 6 and just watch them, and you unlock an early access code. That that's pretty much what was up. So yeah, it was really good to be able to just be able to come back and just redeem the code, jump straight in. So had a lot of fun that night. I mean, I was supposed to go to sleep. Uh, um, I was supposed to go to sleep that night. I only came back home at like 9 o'clock, but I ended up staying awake until 4 o'clock in the morning just playing the game, and pretty much leveled up all the way to 20, level 20, which is the highest, as high as you can go in the open beta. And following the rest of the weekend, I pretty much continued to do that. So don't judge me. I did that on purpose. Yeah. So that was my weekend, and after that, after playing a lot of that open beta, I was pretty positive coming off of it. To be honest, I actually did another whole video talking about my first impressions and highlights and concerns and all that about Battlefield Open Beta Weekend One, and what to expect for Weekend Two and for the full release. I'm probably gonna do another video after Weekend Two. We get another 4 full days of Battlefield Open Beta, which is awesome, and I'm hoping that they would be fixing some of that issues that they had in Weekend One, especially the OP shotgun, some recoil balancing, and yeah, some TTK issues or time to kill issues. I'm hoping they would also they would probably address that a little bit as well before the next weekend hits. and I'm really keen to be trying out the new map they said they're dropping, which is the Empire State map, the New York map. Um, we saw that on the early streaming videos when they did the multiplayer reveals, but it wasn't available in weekend one. So they're going to be making that available for weekend two, which is going to be awesome, and I'm here for it. So that is pretty much going to be. Um, sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just making sure everything is working. Um, yep. Cool. All right. So, yeah, so that's pretty much going on my end, and there's a lot of trailers for games I saw dropping for the past few days, and I haven't been able to check them out because I've been busy trying to make some content for the rest of the week and also finish some games. I mean, Mafia: The Old Country. I played it. I haven't finished the game yet. I think I'm more than halfway through that right now, so I should be able to finish it up hopefully tonight. So far, the game has been pretty amazing in my book, but apparently not to a lot of others, which is I don't know, man. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So it's yeah, I don't know. It to me it feels like it's a pretty good game, and some people have a lot of issues with the pricing compared to what you get. It's not long enough and all that. I don't know. I think the story is pretty amazing. Uh, I mean, we're gonna get into that a little bit later in this video, in this stream. There are some interesting reviews out there, and you know me, I love a good IGN review or GameSpot review and whatnot. So we're gonna look into that a little bit later in the stream and see what's up. And this should be fun. And we're also gonna be getting into some. Sorry, give me a second. I am not sure that you guys can hear me, so I'm just checking whether that is working. Yep. Cool. All right. Cool. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me, right? Yeah, okay. Alright, cool. I hope you can hear me because just wasn't sure what was going on before. Anyway, so that is going to be pretty much what's up. So, yeah, that is what's going to happen. And multi-chats, visual, selfie cam. Sorry, I'm just I'm not sure whether this was set up correctly, so I'm just double checking that everything is working as intended. Anyway, so we're just gonna get into that now. Before we do that, I just wanna double check. Yep. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to double check a few things because I wasn't sure what I was looking at, and yeah, it's all seem to be working pretty well. So all is good. All is well. All is well. Cool. All right. So, first of all, I want to get into this whole Mafia the Old Country review. So we're gonna be checking out the IGN review together because you know me, I love looking at IGN reviews because it it can sometimes be spot on, but sometimes it can be a hit piece. You know, these guys love doing hit pieces, so it's not accurate, and you know, it's all, I don't know, somewhat political, or the wrong person reviewing the game, or you know, just not great. GameSpot is also notorious for this kind of stuff as well, and I wanna check out their review of Mafia the Old Country because they were prior to the release. They were doing all this, you know, exclusive IGN first stuff, and they were pretty positive about it. And I want to see how they have reviewed the game as well. And there's also another article from the PC Gamer that I would like to talk about concerning Mafia the Old Country, which I think would be pretty interesting to see. But first of all, let's get into IGN review of Mafia the Old Country because it is definitely interesting to say the least. So let's look at it together. And if you can't hear or anything, just let me know. Okay. All right. Let's get into it.
Hanson.
Since its debut, the Mafia series has steadily marched forward through the decades.
Oh, it's Lukey, our own Aussie boy, reviewing this. Cool. All right, let's continue.
The original is set in the 1930s. Its sequel spans the 40s and 50s, and Mafia 3 unfolds during the late 60s. If the next step was going to be the 70s, or the 80s, or both, I was certainly ready. Casino intrigue, shine boxes, borrowing huge kitchen knives from Martin Scorsese's mum in the middle of the night.
I need this knife. I'm gonna take this, it's okay?
Okay, yeah,
I just need it for a
bring
little
it
while.
back, though, you know.
Whatever it was, I was up for it. However, instead of moving closer to the end of the 20th century, Mafia the Old Country takes us back to the beginning. And not just to the beginning of the century, but to the formative era of the Mafia itself. Part mob drama and part western, The Old Country may be a safe and conventional third-person action adventure on the surface, but it's a moody and engaging one that makes great use of its uncommon setting and is brimming with old-school atmosphere, so heady you can practically smell the sun-dried tomatoes.
You know, that's off to a good start. I think he enjoyed the video. I think he enjoyed it. It's safe to assume that he did at this point. Let's keep going.
Loyalty, honor, obedience.
Sicilian style.
They set the man apart from the rest.
After experimenting with a more free-form open-world structure in the divisive Mafia 3, Mafia the Old Country returns to the format of the original Mafia and Mafia 2. That is, it's linear and tightly story-driven, and the open world is largely just a vivid backdrop to move through between objectives and during some missions.
Take it right here. I want to show you something.
This has always worked well for the Mafia series, and the Old Country is no exception.
Oh yeah.
This approach gives the Old Country an effective sense of place and scale.
So I have numerous times I have mentioned this in my previous videos and streams. If you have played previous Mafia games, especially Mafia 1, Mafia 2, the Definitive Edition, they all play exactly like this game, with the exception of Mafia 3. Mafia 3, they tried something different, didn't quite work out, which is fine. But if you enjoyed the hell out of the old Mafia games, you're gonna enjoy the hell out of this game, because this is more of that same old Mafia, except very different background to what we used to. It's old country Sicily, but it's very good. I mean, I haven't finished the game, so I can't judge it fully, but I have played most of it at this point, and I can tell you I'm having a lot of fun.
Immersing you in a rich and evocative Sicilian countryside, but without bloat.
Life is tough out here, James.
It's a very detailed, varied and convincing map, but there are no towers to scale or arbitrary icons to visit and clear. Your attention is simply required on the story and the story alone. As a single-player sucker who inhales this kind of thing for its story, setting and style, I was quickly hooked.
Grazie.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who might be tempted to use the Sicilian language option alongside subtitles in the language of your choice, you're in the right place. If you're
Yep.
the kind of person who pounds through cutscenes craving their next chance to slap the citizens of Steelport with a giant purple dildo, it's possible the Mafia series may not be your speed.
Well, yeah.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it.
Anyway,
Meet Base 44,
it's playing an ad,
a
so
complete
that's
AI
nice.
creation platform. Describe
While
what
he
you
plays the ad,
And-
yeah, this is definitely true. Definitely, Mafia is not for people who just want to be like skipping through all the cutscenes and just, hack and slashing through the whole thing. It's not that kind of game. It's a very story focused, story driven game. The whole point of this game is just the story. You play through the story, and I know people have an issue with being on guardrails. But this is exactly that kind of game. It is on guardrails for the most part. Because it's a very story focused, story heavy game, the attraction of the whole thing is the story. Gameplay is part of it too, don't get me wrong, but gameplay is passable. It's serviceable. It's not bad at all, but yeah, it's you play Mafia games for the story and the setting. And if you're playing it for any other reason, you're playing it for the wrong reasons, my friend.
Wood might be a stretch, but it's your
Oh, hang on.
house for now.
Beginning in 1904, the Old Country charts a chronicle in the life of young Sicilian Enzo Favara, who escapes a life of slavery in the region's dangerous sulfur mines run by the ruthless Spadaro crime family, to find himself working for their local adversaries, the Teresi family. The story hits a lot of standard beats, and all the usual suspects are here. The fair and kindly mentor, and the loyal best friend with a habit of testing the patience of others around him.
We're here!
The stern and powerful Don, and his cynical consigliere.
What's this farman deal?
The slimy and treacherous rival boss, and the forbidden love.
See you around.
Yep, they're all there.
Enzo.
There are some neat connections to the existing games in the series too.
They're pretty
for
cliche,
fans who pay close attention.
but it works for the Mafia setting.
So yes, it's a fairly familiar and predictable 13-hour saga for anyone with a basic level of gangster movie literacy, but
Yeah.
the writing is strong and the voice performances are stronger.
We'll let him
Yeah.
act tough in front of the
It's
boy.
definitely true. The voice acting is phenomenal in this
The
game.
highlight is arguably Don Teresi himself, whose English voice actor Johnny Santiago injects with a quiet, husky intensity that is as credibly intimidating as a man in his position would need to be.
I ask
Yeah.
a question.
He stalks the screen as the kind of guy that men who kill for a living would actually take orders from.
His family,
Yeah.
loyalty is everything.
I know.
Familiar too is the third-person action, as the Old Country plays like any typical cover shooter from the last decade or so. This was the case in 2020's Mafia Definitive Edition, and it's the same again here, albeit with a Wild West flavour thanks to the era-specific arsenal, like revolvers, repeaters and various shotguns, and the fact that shootouts sometimes occur on horseback, and or against fellas who look like they've just stumbled home off the set of a Sergio Leone picture after a full day of making Clint Eastwood look cool. Even without engaging much with its rosary bead system of minor combat buffs, which I did regularly forget about, it's not a massive challenge with the default soft-locking aiming controls. However, I don't play these sorts of games to be relentlessly punished. Some enemies will hunker down behind large objects and walls, and others will stoically stride towards you to be blown out of their boots.
Yep.
The
Pretty
AI
typical
isn't
stuff.
always sharp, and it's definitely a little janky to find yourself completely flanked, but still have the time to stand up and clumsily blast a bloke who had you dead to rights at point blank range.
Yep.
But the shootouts are nonetheless serviceable.
Yeah. So I do have a bone to pick with Mafia, the old country, in terms of aiming and shooting. It to me, it reminds me a lot of the first Uncharted game. The first Uncharted game was a really good fun time, but the shooting was kind of janky and wasn't really that fun. Because the rest of the game was pretty good. Again, the story and everything was really fun to do. The puzzles were very fun, and because also because of the fact that the shooting wasn't the primary focus of the game, it was fine for the time being, and also because it was an old game, for the time I guess it was fine. But in 2025, I feel like the aiming and shooting could be a little bit more polished for this game. I did find it sometimes frustrating to aim and shoot, because one thing, I guess they're trying to take like a more realistic approach to aiming, so it takes a while when you like hold down the trigger button, like the aim button. It takes like a good full second to just like focus in. So I don't know, I found it a little bit annoying that how long it took to actually aim before I could shoot. And if I shoot without it, the aim is pretty horrible. Like it's not accurate at all. You're just wasting bullets, which you don't have a lot of. So you do have to be precise and take your time to aim properly. Otherwise, you waste your bullets and you're kind of stuck with having to knife everybody while they're shooting at you, which is not a fun time. So, I mean, they do have plenty of ammo lying around if you can get to those ammo. So that's, I guess, then it's fine. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, the aiming kind of did suck. It could be a little bit more responsive. Minor complaint.
The Old Country's stealth doesn't rewrite the rulebook either, but it does strengthen the action overall. Stealth is sometimes required by the design of the missions at hand, but on other occasions it's available as an option.
Yeah.
There are a number of encounters throughout, with environments that have been laid out for us to be able to sneak around and pick off all the enemies one by one, but also seamlessly pivot to hosting an out-and-out gunfight should you flub it and be spotted. You can toss coins and bottles for distraction, but unfortunately only some bottles, that is, the ones arbitrarily marked. It's always a bit of an immersion breaker when levels are decorated with inconsistent props. I'd vastly prefer to just be able to pick up any bottle. Failing that, just delete the bottles we can't pick up during missions.
Yep.
Crucially, you can pick up and move bodies, and there are boxes to stack.
I also have something to do, a bit of an immersion breaking for me. I thought it's just not just the bottle stuff, but I feel like when you're going stealth and you have to drag a enemy body and like hide it in one of these boxes, which are pretty much everywhere. One thing that I also noticed is these blue boxes are kind of in every level, every mission design, regardless of the space that you're in. Like, I don't know. I mean, they're in like enemy dens and caves, and also like the police stations, and it's a bit weird. It's the same box. They just happen to be all these boxes everywhere, and they haven't like tried to distinguish it based on the space that you're in. So they always, that, oh yeah, that's the box that you can hide people in once you pick them off, which is a little bit funny and a little bit immersion breaking, but it's not even the point. The point for me was when you hide a body in there, in the game, when after you picking off an enemy and then have to hide their body in the box, and you go off and you target another enemy and you kill them, and then you come back, drag their body and try to hide it in the same box. You can hide up to 3 bodies in one box. You don't see the bodies that you hit in the box when you open it. It's empty again, like when you come to second time or third time. So it's like, but the game actually keeps track of how many bodies you've hidden in that box though, because you can't do more than 3. If you try to come with a 4th body, it just wouldn't let you put in that box. It's just locked out for you. But whenever you open the box, you can't see the other bodies in there, which is a little bit funny to me. I feel like it's an easy fix, given that this is not even like an open world massive game. It's a guardrail linear game. I don't know why this is not doable, but it did kind of break immersion for me a little bit. It's just for me, just me. I don't know if it did to you. If it did, let me know if you also agree with that.
Dashed him in. The stealth is pretty standard, but with distractions and body hiding, it does feel like a proper stealth system, and not just a tacked on afterthought. Enzo can temporarily highlight nearby enemies in the environment, which is essentially a superpower that's hand-waved away as his impeccable instincts. It probably could have been more logically introduced during the Underground intro as some kind of innate ability he honed after spending the bulk of his childhood in a dark sulfur mine, but no matter. At any rate, once you have a feel for where your enemies are and which way they're headed, all that's left is to sneak around, grab them, and either button bash to strangle them or tap your knife attack to speed up the process. That said, I actually rarely used the latter. Not because I was feeling merciful, but because stabbing your victims costs you a block of durability off your knife, which needs to be sharpened with a whetstone if and when it runs out of stabs.
Yeah.
It's not a game breaker, but I'm not really into the idea of not being able to stab a bloke simply because my knife is immediately no longer pointy enough to do so after slaying a few of his mates.
That's true.
Whetstones were a consumable I didn't always have. I mainly just strangled my enemies to avoid this issue.
Yeah, and that brings me to another issue with the game as well, which is, in my playthrough so far, I realized that, this little whetstone that you need to have in order to sharpen your blade again, you can only carry one at a time. Isn't that annoying? I mean, I get, okay, so they're trying to be a little bit different with the way you use the knife, try to limit it a little bit so you don't go around stabbing everybody. You're going to think twice about, doing that. But the thing is, the durability thing that Luke was talking about in this video. Oh, hi, hey man, thank you. Eileen Ramirez, welcome, brother. Yeah, doing good. I'm just we're talking about Mafia: The Old Country review from IGN, which is always a fun time to watch. So anyway, so as I was saying, the whole durability system with the knife was a little bit annoying for me, because you had to keep track of how many blocks that you had each time you stab an enemy. But also, whenever you open like lock boxes or locked doors, it also takes out a chunk as well. So it's not just stabbing. So you need to have a whetstone to resharpen that and then like refill the whole durability meter so you can keep doing it. But you can only carry one at a time. You can't, if you come across another whetstone, you can't keep that in your inventory to use it later, which I found really annoying, because that to me is a bit of a system breaker, because how annoying it got over time. Yeah, I can't hear you, but I can see your comments. I'm in Australia, in Melbourne, if you're wondering where I'm from. But yeah, we're just doing a stream from here. Where are you from? I don't stream daily. I try to do once or maybe 2-3 times a week actually. Yeah. Are you also from Texas by any chance? I've got another friend who's from Texas who tunes in sometimes. She's not here today. Anyhow, as I was saying, so this whole knife situation could be a little bit more polished and thought out, I guess. I get what they were trying to do with the knife, but yeah, like I said, the whole whetstone sharpening and the durability thing can suck a little bit. If they're limited that to just opening lock boxes and like, you know, doors and stuff, that would be a little bit better, and not have it limited to stabbing. I guess, yeah, maybe they might fix it down the road with feedback, but you never know. Yeah. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Are you gonna help me out? I bet you are. Alien from US Virginia.
Issue, but it feels like a slightly unnecessary system, particularly when durability concerns disappear during the old country's new one-on-one knife fights.
Yeah, I
These
did
knife
enjoy
fights are
these
essentially
knife
boss
fight
encounters
stuff.
presented as a one-on-one showdown with another man. They occur outside regular third-person action gameplay, and you're locked into these battles until there's a result, or your opponent is scripted to scarper. The attacks, parries, and dodges in knife fights are bespoke to this mode alone. They're
Oh, all right. There's a ad playing, so. Oh, nice. You're doing that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll check it out after the stream for sure.
flashy and bloody, but a lot of the time I did just feel I was simply dodging and slashing my way to a cutscene, where a further complication.
I do have
switch in
Discord.
momentum
I just started one, so it's kind of empty at the moment.
Sometimes you'll trigger an animation that makes you a passenger for a while, then Enzo's
Eileen, you're not the first one, my friend. Many have tried.
I'm not sure what the thought was there. The night fights look cool and they're not like anything in the series to date, but they do feel a little low stakes at times.
Yeah. Knife fights
As
pretty
a
much
linear
play out
adventure, The Old
exactly
Country
the same
admittedly
every
doesn't
single
share
time.
The same scope of Rockstar's genre-defining westerns, but it's certainly adjacent to them in tone and atmosphere. There's
This is to Eileen. If you want to check out my Discord, it's actually in my profile. You can go check it out.
a certain undeniable swagger that comes with riding into town on horseback and on the wrong side of the law. And The Old Country captures this with similar effectiveness to the Red Dead series.
Here we are.
The early 1900s setting doesn't just shine a spotlight on the early days of the Sicilian Mafia, it's also a window back to the Edwardian era of automobiles, when cars began competing with horses as the primary method of transportation. Developer Hangar 13 has done an exceptional job in this department.
Absolutely.
Especially...
Did you guys watch the video where they dropped this whole behind the scenes footage of how they, you know, use real world cars and the sounds of, you know, old cars or cars from that time period to actually include in the game, which is phenomenal. The sound design for these cars in the game is freaking amazing because they've gone out of their way to actually make sure that it's time accurate, and they use real world cars and they actually recorded the specific sounds of the engine, you know, how they drive and all of that just for the game, and it's freaking amazing. I did a reaction for that as well, and I spoke about that. You can go check it out on my YouTube channel if you want. Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. Exceptional job for sure.
with the sound. These 120-year-old cars have primitive engines, whining chain drives, and open cabins with no sound deadening. And The Old Country has captured their raw and lumpy burbles immaculately.
Yep, that's for sure. I really do enjoy
It definitely
driving
can't
these
be
cars around.
understated how much richness this adds to driving around the map. It's not just engine sounds either. When a gramophone is brought on a drunken car trip, Be sure to listen as it misbehaves when you bounce around off-road. There's a lot of consideration here, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a race mission, but it's not been shoehorned in here to taunt those who are still haunted by the infamously tricky racing event in the original Mafia. Sicily was the home of the Targa Florio, established in 1906 and one of the oldest motor racing events in the world. So it makes perfect sense in this context. The Old
Absolutely.
Country's riff on this race is sadly all too brief. It's over in less than
Sure,
7
we'll
minutes,
do, Eileen.
but it
We'll
is
do.
one of the most memorable and
Thank you.
thrilling missions. It certainly made me wish Enzo could have cut ties with the Cosa Nostra and raced around Europe full time. I don't know what's more dangerous, betraying your oath to the family or trying to tame an aircraft engine that's had 4 tyres and a steering wheel strapped to it. On the topic of engines, however, it should be noted that the Old Country shifts the Mafia series off its previous proprietary one and onto Unreal Engine 5. From my perspective, the impact isn't a dramatically profound one. 2020's Mafia Definitive Edition remains a handsome-looking game, and so is the Old Country. What I can say is that I haven't experienced any of the minor bugs that occurred during my first playthrough of Mafia Definitive Edition, and that I haven't had to manually restart checkpoints to overcome unexpected jankiness or fallen through the map. At least on PC, as we weren't provided access to the console versions ahead of launch, so we'll have to wait and see how those run. But outside of the occasional frame rate flutter and some light pop-in, my time with the Old Country has been quite robust, although perhaps not quite as robust as the incredible array of food and produce on display throughout.
The kitchen's this way.
Games rarely make me this hungry. A game may have never made me this hungry. I'm craving cannolis and cake. I'm wading through arancini ball recipes. I'm considering a vegetable garden to grow tomato varieties I can't find. I've officially turned into my dad, and the Old Country is the game that did it.
We do not always get to choose what we do.
Suppose not. We can choose who we are.
Mafia: The Old Country is an effective return to the linear and tightly story-driven format of the original Mafia and Mafia 2. It doesn't reinvent stealth, and there's nothing especially remarkable about its typical third-person cover shooting. But with great writing, excellent vocal performances,
Bravery is not common in this world, and so
and a wonderful eye and ear for detail, The Old Country is a potent and immersive time machine.
Alright, so I gotta stop a little bit because my thing is kind of going crazy. I'm not sure what's happening. God damn, son. What is happening here? Alright. Give me a second. Self again. I'm not sure why it's so big. It's a bit weird, no? Why is that? Why is that so big? Come on. Alright. Nope. Something's going on. I don't know what's happening. I actually have no clue whatsoever. So I'm just gonna swap to this. Okay. All right. So
to a rarely
let's keep
explored
going.
era. This may be the Sicilian cuisine talking, as
Actually, no, I can't play do it like this. I need to fix whatever is happening with my chat screen because it's not working properly for me. Man, why is it doing that? Alright, bear with me guys. Sorry about this. Hello Alexa Clark. Welcome to the stream.
It's 8:14 p.m.
Oh, Alexa, shut up. Start on my Alexa. Welcome to the stream. I'm just having a bit of trouble with my chat screen, so I'm just trying to fix that. So you have joined at the perfect time. We were just reviewing Mafia, the old country IGN video. We were just having a look at it, but I had to pause because, as you can see, you can't see it. It's just not really working properly, which is very annoying. Very, very annoying. So I'm going to delete that and add it back in. Camera source. Alright. Video capture. There you are. Massive. Alright, so that should hopefully work. Hopefully. Oops. Alright, let's see if that worked. No, that did not work. What is going on? I'm not sure how I can fix that. Add source, open scale filtering, order, transform. What in the hell is going on? Configure video. Give us default. Yep, this should work. But it is showing just my face over pretty much the whole screen, which is not how it's supposed to work. So I'm not sure what is going on here. Not sure at all. This is going to be very annoying, I'm telling you. So I will work this out and oops, that's not what I meant. Alright, I am going to sorry guys, give me 1 second. I'm just going to quickly fix this issue for myself because I don't know what else to do. I'm gonna have to do this again all over. Alright, so I got video capture device, Cam. Gonna have to add it as a separate thing, and video broadcast. We doing it? Are we doing it? Are we doing it? Oh wait. remove this. Okay. All right. Let's see if this works. Please work, because I don't wanna keep doing this. As you guys realize that I'm still figuring out this whole OBS thing. I really thought I had it, but apparently not. Oh, it worked! It worked! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Okay, we're back. We're back, baby. Alright. So, alright, let's continue watching this very cool IGN review of Mafia the Old Country review by our boy Loki.
I've never played anything with quite as much Italian fruit and food on show, but I think the
That is
Mafia
true.
games might have established themselves as the arancini balls of the business. That is, crusty on the outside, but on the inside, they're dense, tasty, and a little cheesy. And if you keep bringing them out, I'm going to keep going back to the buffet until the kitchen runs dry.
Then, one more.
Funny.
You're watching a toothbrush play Billie
Alright.
Eilish.
It's
But did you know
it's
there's a YouTube music app where you can listen?
there you go. Back again.
Executive Reviews Editor Tom Marks here with Luke Riley, our reviewer for Mafia the Old Country. Luke, I'm sure you've seen around, he does a ton of reviews. He reviewed Mafia Definitive Edition in the same sort of space, Mind's Eye, although less glowing about that one, obviously, recently. And on the other side of the law, The Precinct. And then also, you probably know, Luke, if you are a racing game fan. Luke, I think basically any game with 4 wheels in it, you are the reviewer of, and people know you well for that. But this game does have a little bit of that. But let's talk about the series in general first, your tastes within it. What's your favorite game in the Mafia series? What do you like about the series? You know, that sort of stuff.
Well, I think my favorite Mafia remains the original. And I was so excited that they remade it. The definitive edition was it ticked a lot of my boxes. It updated it dramatically, obviously, because the original is over 20 years old. But it's certainly my favorite story, and probably my favorite era of kind of American gangster crime. That kind of pre-World War II space, although Mafia 2 was fabulous as well.
So it sounds like the setting, theme, story, vibe is kind of more important to you maybe than the gameplay side of it, or are they equal? Like, how do you fall in that, I guess?
That's a good question.
This guy is definitely a hardcore Mafia player. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, because I mean, you have to be exactly like this guy to be able to enjoy Mafia. If you're not, like, because he's got the right expectations going into this. So yeah,
The setting's very important, particularly with the Mafia games, because the gameplay. Alright, let's take Definitive Edition. Take Mafia 1 Definitive Edition, for instance. Put against any other typical.
My God, what was the score?
Balls of the business. That is.
What was the
crusty
score?
On the outside, keep going back to the buffet until the.
It's a 8. I missed that. Yeah. Let's talk about this for a bit. I think 8 out of 10 is a pretty decent score for Mafia the Old Country. I think there's a lot of people who think unless it's a 9 or a 10, it's not a good game. But 7s and 8 games are pretty much great games too. You know, they're not. Not every game has to be a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. 7, I think sometimes even 6 out of 10s are pretty passable and serviceable games. But 7 out of 10 games, 8 out of 10 games, these are also pretty exceptional games too. So to have 8 out of 10 score for Mafia the Old Country, I think that's pretty acceptable. It's pretty acceptable because this game does. I think it's a pretty well deserved for that game. I know not everyone's gonna agree with me, but I don't know. Having played the game so far, I think 8 out of 10 is. I mean, even 7.5 is pretty good. I think that would be pretty accurate. it's definitely not a 9 or a 10, but that's expected. Nobody expected 9 out 8 10 out of 10 game from Mafia. People who played the game, like I mentioned, they know exactly what you're getting into, and it's exactly what it was. People who played the previous Mafia games went into the game, I think, including myself, expecting exactly what I'm gonna get out of it, and I got everything I expected. Nothing more, nothing less. So, pretty happy fella. Oh, let's get back to where we were.
Are they equal? Like, how do you fall in that, I guess?
That's a good question. The setting's very important, particularly with the Mafia games, because the gameplay.
Yeah.
Alright, let's take Definitive Edition. Take Mafia 1 Definitive Edition, for instance. Put against any other typical third-person shooter or sort of action driving game. It was very conventional. It's kind of a conventional cover shooter. It was all fine. And that sounds like a pejorative, like I'm dismissing it. But fine is great.
Yeah, a game does not have to be revolutionary to be fun.
Yeah,
no.
and that's the case for this one here. It's the case for the Old Country. The Old Country doesn't, as I mentioned in the review, it doesn't reinvent really anything.
Yeah.
It certainly doesn't reinvent third-person cover shooting. It doesn't reinvent action driving. It doesn't reinvent stealth, certainly, even though it is, there's a lot of nice functionality within that makes it a nice, solid stealth system that is usable. Like I said, hiding bodies, distractions, all that stuff is without that now, after so many years of really solid stealth experiences, that kind of just makes it really a tack on that. You're just like, you know what, it's just going to be quicker if I just blast everybody in this level and move on. But with those little extra flourishes, it makes it a viable option, particularly if you're going to replay it. If you want to replay it and be like, you know what, I don't think I had it. Maybe I played this a little impatiently, or maybe I persisted when I could have restarted and seen if I could have gotten further with pure stealth.
But it's the theme that it sounds like it's the theme that elevates that, right? It's sort of whatever the story is, whatever's going on beyond it is what's bringing that totally serviceable gameplay kind of up a notch in your mind.
Yes, that's really important for me, and I love period games. So I love Red Dead. I love LA Noire.
I think there is an unhealthy obsession with how games are perceived in current generation of games, because I think everyone has this unrealistic expectation for every game to be somewhat innovative and reinvent every mechanic. And if you don't do that to some level, your game is not a good game. I think I know not everyone's going to agree with what I'm saying, but most people have that sort of expectation. Even if you don't say it out loud, you in your subconsciously you kind of expect that from every game that comes out, and unless it's like reinventing the wheel. It's people look at the game like, oh, it's not innovative enough, it's not creative enough. They're mistaking the creativity to innovation, which is a mistake that we without even knowing that we make that mistake sometimes. It's a subconscious thing. Even if we don't say it out loud or we think it actively, we sort of associate the two together, which is very unhealthy for the video game industry, because I think it stems from the fact that there was a whole period of games, there's a whole period in the gaming industry in the early late 90s to early 2000s, and even towards late 2000, like early 2000s or late 2000s, start of 2010s. There's a whole period in the gaming industry where the games, almost every game that was coming out was somewhat innovative, because they were really doing new things, because we were all going through the period of rapid change during that phase. I'm talking about that jump from PS2 to PS3 and then to PS4. That whole time period was a time where we were all experimenting a lot, because what was there at the time wasn't polished at all, and we were learning that as we were getting new games. Oh, okay, so this feels a little bit better, this feels a little bit better. So all the gaming mechanics that we're used to today was kind of invented during that time period, and now we're at a time where the technology is kind of peaked, and we have all these really cool game mechanics that have become the norm in video games. And we at a point where pretty much, like, if you use all those existing tools and made video games and with the existing mechanics, it makes for a pretty solid video game, you know. As long as you get, good story and everything, it makes for a good video game. But that's not the case, because all these AAA games have an expectation from the consumers to have somewhat of an innovation that's, doing something different to what's been done before. Everything has to be completely new in such way. It's become an issue, because it doesn't have to always be like that. You can have a game that is not reinventing everything, or being super innovative, but can still be creative enough to actually give us a solid game. The Mafia, the Old Country, I feel, is one such game. It's not innovative in any way, but it's using the existing tools that we currently have and the mechanics that we currently have in games, good games, and using all those tools to bring together a cohesive, very fun video game. The same with, Hogwarts Legacy did the same thing. Hogwarts Legacy for me wasn't an inventive game. It was a very fun game, for sure. I guess, I think the cool part was they kind of did figure out how to go about, using the spells without making it too boring, and in a way, but they kind of, made using spells feel like shooting in a way, I guess. So they've figured out the balance for that, but other than that, everything else, every other mechanic in that game was already existing mechanics in other games. It wasn't anything new, but they just pulled all of those together and then made a game that actually made sense for the Harry Potter world, and gave us a really solid, good game. And that's exactly what they're doing with Mafia, and I'm fine with that. We're at a point where we can actually have all these great games that we can play, and that looks good and feels good, without having to worry about, whether or not they have invented something for that game. There will always be games that are inventing and doing things differently and that are coming out, and which is awesome, but it doesn't mean that every single video game has to do something exactly completely new in order to enjoy the game. That's my 2 cents on the matter. Let's keep watching.
Games, because, well, I love games that act as time machines, because they're such a fascinating way of experiencing a completely extinct time period in a non-passive way. You know what I mean? Like, I love watching old movies. I have, like, such dad taste in movies. I love old war movies. I love old gangster movies, and I love absorbing them, and, looking and watching the old, the old cities, the old cars, everything, the old costumes, listening to the old music. But games, you can live in those spaces. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of those sorts of things. It's certainly the beauty of Red Dead and LA Noire and the Mafia games.
Isn't that why we all play games? To live in it?
Visiting a place, as well as experiencing a cool story.
Yep.
You're not just watching along, you're playing.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So speaking of that world, the sort of, you mentioned this in the review, that Mafia 3 was much more of an open world, almost, leaning into the GTA inspirations a little bit more in that vibe, and that was kind of divisive. So this one goes back to the linear sort of structure. Where do you fall in that debate? Did you like the open world of Mafia 3? Would you have preferred Old Country to explore it a little more, try to refine it, improve it, or are you glad that they just sort of went back to what worked originally with the series?
I think it's the latter. I think there's more nuance to their answer, but I think it's the latter. I am glad that that's what they've done, because I think it plays to their strengths. And if this makes Hangar 13 nimble enough to continue these sorts of games, to bring Mafia to different time periods, and it's successful and it's what people want, then that suits me. That suits me down to the ground. So I remember bouncing off Mafia 3, not because I wasn't enjoying it, just because I guess it was a little different to what I expected. I guess the busy work, if you call it that, wasn't what I kind of wanted from a Mafia game, even though,
that's true.
Like I said, the setting was fabulous. The city was really cool. The performances were great. The performances and the stories in Mafia games are always exceptional.
Yeah.
And Mafia 3 was no exception there. But yeah, I did bounce off it, but I went back to it ultimately, and I did finish it. But it's not my preference. It's not my preference for a Mafia game.
Sure.
True.
The gaming industry is
That is true. I mean, he's right on the money on that one. They did something. They did something different with Mafia 3, but it just didn't work out. And they tried to fix it post-launch too, but it just didn't work out. You know, which is fine. Which is fine.
So the final thing I want to ask you is kind of as a touchstone for, the Mafia series. What? Mafia 3 was 2016, the definitive edition was 2020, I think.
2020.
So this series has not been dormant, but it hasn't been super active in recent years or anything. So for people who maybe aren't as familiar with Mafia, especially those earlier games, what are some games that you kind of look to of like, oh, if you like this game, X series or whatever, you should check out Mafia: The Old Country. You might be interested in this as well.
But if you're completely unfamiliar with Mafia, I think that even if you don't gravitate towards this kind of open world action driving style game like GTA or anything like that, let's say Mafia has like things in common with Uncharted on account of its high presentation values and its like commitment to a really cinematic experience and a good story with really, well blocked cutscenes and great performances and but it also has things in common with something like Red Dead Redemption, particularly Red Dead Redemption in this instance because of that time period. I think it's easy to kind of maybe forget that Mafia: The Old Country finds itself set of not the same universes by any stretch, but it finds itself set between Red Dead Redemption 2 and the original Red Dead Redemption in terms of its time period.
Yeah.
1899, I think, for Red Dead Redemption 2, and then a little bit later on for the original. Yeah, I think if you like those, certainly if you like those sorts of settings, if you like L.A. Noire, again, which is kind of in that wheelhouse, that's obviously that has that layer of investigation and
I love L.A. Noire. I love this game so much.
Experience which uses that open world.
A lot of people didn't like this game a lot because I don't know. I remember playing this game back in the day and people saying, "Oh my god, it's a little bit creepy." I get it. I mean, they use like real time, like literal, like facial mocap to actually integrate that into this game. So like all the the facial features and like when people talk, it looks pretty realistic, but also kind of like creepy because it's kind of in the uncanny valley a little bit. I don't know. I thought it was pretty innovative for the time. It was the one Rockstar game that I hoped they would give another sequel, but I think it didn't end up selling well. It didn't receive well. I don't know. I really did enjoy it. And I thought for the time when it got released, it looked amazing. It hasn't aged well for sure. If you look at it now, it doesn't look that good. But for the time being, it looked pretty good.
Really vivid backdrop to transport you back in time and give all that action a space to live in, but it's not the focus of what you're doing, and it's not this kind of a place that's full of, as I said in the review, towers to scale and icons to go to and do little mini missions at. It's not full of all that busy work.
Well, thank you very much, Luke, for chatting with us a little bit more about your taste in Mafia, the genre in general, the review, all that jazz. If you want to check out Luke's last review, very different kind of game, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. Like we said earlier, 4 wheels, therefore Luke reviews it.
That's it.
And if you want a different kind of linear first-person story-ish driven action adventure-ish game, Tristan reviewed RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business. Again, very
That is a
different.
mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a mouthful. And
Anyway, so I think that was a pretty good review. I mean,
there's just
I
not
was
a-
kind of expecting they might have some issues with the game because you never know with IGN because they sometimes the reviews can be a bit hit and miss for what they are. I always take it with a grain of salt whenever they do a review. Speaking of hit and miss reviews, well, you know where I stand with Mafia the Old Country. I think Mafia the Old Country is a great game, and I wholeheartedly agree with IGN in this time, giving them an 8 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic entry to the series. Acknowledging the fact that it's not a full game, it's definitely not a full game because we had Mafia 1, we had Mafia 2, we had Mafia 3, and then this is Mafia the Old Country, which is a prequel to all the games, and it's not Mafia 4. It's not Mafia 4. It's a prequel on its own, and it's a much smaller entry to the series. It's not a full-fledged game. That's why the cheaper price entry as well. Given all of that, I think it's a pretty good entry, and I think this would help Hangar 13 to get their footing back as a studio, since they've gone through a lot of crap in the past few years. I think 2K would look at it and say, okay, so you guys did well with Mafia. This is your strength. Make Mafia 4. That's what I'm hoping. I want Mafia 4 to be a thing that exists and hopefully not take as long as it did between this game and Mafia 3 for that to come out. So fingers crossed. He's hoping. All right, speaking of that, I do have another thing that I want to bring your attention to. This is a review of Mafia the Old Country, done by PC Gamer. So they have given it a 45 out of 100. 45 out of 100, man. I don't know. Interesting, huh? So, give me a second. Let me just load that up real quick. All right. So, yeah. So yeah, this is a review from the PC Gamer, which is so interesting because I feel like PC gamers can be pretty accurate. I mean, not accurate, but they don't give out crap reviews or like controversial reviews. But this one, Mafia the Old Country review: in Sicily, women are dangerous than shotguns, but less dangerous than knives. It's reviewed by Joshua Wallens. This was just published 18 hours ago. Less than a day ago. Who's Joshua? This is Joshua. I don't know who that is, but it's one of Josh's first memories of playing Quake 2 on the family computer when he was much too young to be doing that. And he's been irreparably game-brained ever since. His writing has been featured in Vice, Fanbyte, and Financial Times. He'll play pretty much anything and has written far too much on everything from visual novels to Assassin's Creed. His most profound loves are CRPGs, immersive sims, and game whose ambition outstrips its budget. He thinks you're all far too mean about Deus Ex Invisible War. Cool. What has he done? He's done he reviewed Mafia the Old Country. He has reviewed Battlefield 6 open beta stuff. He's written about Okay. Was a Assassin's Creed fan. Baldur's Great. Okay. So he's into a lot of RPG stuff. This kind of makes sense why he might have not enjoyed the game. Because, I mean, I am a sucker for RPGs too. I love Assassin's Creed games, despite what everyone might think about it. I do like Assassin's Creed. They have been on a downward spiral, but even Shadows, I did pretty much enjoy that game, even though it's not a perfect game. So I might be biased with that too. And, you know, I do love a good RPG myself, but I also do appreciate a good story, you know, even if it's not an RPG. And Mafia is not an RPG at all. It's just a story on guardrails. You play the story, that's pretty much it. So anyway, now we know about Joshua Wallens. We can get into the review itself and see how this stacks up. All right, so let's move that there. Cool. All right, so okay, so let's continue. So this is what he has to say about the Mafia: The Old Country. Mafia series has never had a clue what to do with its open world. In Mafia 1, the titular city of Lost Haven was set dressing, never feeling like more than a sparse, bizarro version of its then contemporary GTA 3. In Mafia 2, avarice got the better of design, and all the side activities that would have rounded out the base game's home of Empire Bay were carved off to be flogged to you later as DLC, leaving the map as strangely empty as its predecessors. Alright, Mafia 3 took an honest swing at things, trying to fill its home of New Bordeaux with stuff for you to do when a main quest wasn't holding your hand. It didn't work. The activities were one note and tedious, an endless cycle of clearing out the same damn warehouse of the same damn goons before the game would let you get back to its rip-roaring revenge story, the part you actually liked. So, if there's anything shocking about Mafia: The Old Country trading in the series rambling, aimless maps for a strict focus on its main plot, it's only that it hadn't been done sooner. It's ostensibly the clear right move, cutting out the craft to concentrate on the mob tales that have always been what people actually liked about these games. By rights, it should be a winning formula. It's not. The Old Country's road crime story can't bear the weight of keeping you interested even at a svelte 13-hour runtime compared to the prior game's 40. Okay. Interesting. So off to a good start, I think. Yeah, so obviously the dude doesn't understand what the open world is for. Calling Mafia games world open world is kind of misleading, I think, because yeah, obviously they did try to do something different in Mafia 3 and realized they're not good at it. Fine, but their open world has always been a backdrop for what the story that they're telling. It's not, the open world has never been the main character. It's always been the backdrop for these games. That's why there are no side activities. That's why there's nothing to do, because you're not supposed to be doing side activities. You're supposed to be focusing on the story and play the game, play the story, and go through that and go through those emotions and experience it. You're not supposed to be doing, I don't know, delivering crap or rescuing people or doing random shootouts. No, it's not supposed to be an open world, even though the world is open for you to just drive around, which you can do in this game too, even though it's not a huge world. It's just a valley. yeah, the whole point isn't that it's just it's a set dressing, you know. It's a whole set that you can just walk around. It's basically a set that you can just walk around and, you know, just look at. It's not supposed to be the main character or the main attraction. It's never been that. And like I mentioned, yeah, this is a very much a shorter game compared to previous games. It's a little bubble of a game. It's not a full game. Alright, it makes me wonder, is the All Countries narrative just a misfire, an ill-timed dud in a line of bangers, or did those tough open worlds do more than we give them credit for? Whatever your gripes with Mafia 3, I can't deny that I still fell in love with that game because regardless of anything else, there's something to be said for screaming down a highway in red Corvette, listening to Eve of Destruction on the radio, pausing only intermittently to hop out and brutalize racists. Take away that theme park reconstruction of a particular era, of a cinematic vision of a particular era, and what are you left with? A shell of a story in a shell of a game. Carusoing for a bruise. Carusoing. Alright, Mafia, the Old Country starts you out in the ratty minus rags of Enzo Ferrara, a no-name Sicilian laborer who was more or less sold into slavery at 5 years old to pay off a portion of his father's debts, which isn't a great start. An even worse start is what happens about 50 minutes after you hit the new game. Mount Etna by another name gives a belch that collapses the mind on your head. A dead best friend, a knife fight with your manager, and a horseback chase across the Sicilian countryside later, and you find yourself at the mercy in the employ of Don Torrisi, a local legitimate businessman who sounds like an Italian Con O'Neill and has the build of an American Bully XL. Yep, that is true. Don Torrisi I found to be quite intimidating, and the voice acting is phenomenal. Let's set up some hanging plot threads. Don Torrisi has a daughter, the beautiful and charming Isabella, who he intends to marry off to the son of local baron. Gosh, she sure does seem to have a soft spot for Enzo, though. Working alongside Enzo is the Don's nephew, Cesare, a brash hothead with big ambitions who rankles when his uncle starts lavishing favors on the smart-tempered new guy. Overseeing Enzo and Cesare is Luca, a Torrisi lieutenant with a solid head on his shoulders, a loving relationship with his wife, and a new baby on the way. So, obviously, these are pretty niche things, and I'm not surprised by that at all. This is exactly how it's supposed to be. So, yeah. Anyway, keep going. Either I am a supernatural talented at figuring out where plots are going within 10 seconds of the beginning, or every single one of those traits and the All Country story overall unfolds in the most predictable way possible. Sure. If there's a surprise in how these arcs play out, it's only that there are no surprises. That things really do go how you immediately anticipate them going right from the very start. That's not to say it's awful. Sometimes cliches become cliches because they work. Yeah, I mean, the whole Mafia games have always been cliche. They've never been surprising. It's just the delivery of those stories are pretty amazing, and you just, you know, eat it right up. I'm not surprised by what's happening in this story. I'm just enjoying the story for what it is. I guess people always need like suspense and surprises in their stories to actually enjoy them. I guess he's one of them. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think you need the story to be surprising and like plot twisty all the time to enjoy it? I'm not defending Mafia the Old Country. I'm not saying it's perfect at all. I'm just saying the cliches in the game, in the story, is pretty expected. We already saw it even when they did the reveal. I knew exactly what I was getting. So it's not a surprise. The Mafia story's always been about rags to riches stories. You know, started up from the bottom, and you rise your ranks up. And there's a somewhat of a love story. It's a familiar beat that you get from a Mafia game. Are you surprised? Anyway, that's not to say it's awful. Sometimes cliches become cliches. Yeah. All country has to tell about its character, buoyed by a strong performance and decent dialogue, with the quiet menace of the game's two mutually hostile Cappy Day Cappy serving as particular standouts. But there's only so much work good acting can do when it's serving a story you feel like you've seen 100 times before. Okay, one of those mob stories, but it's only ever one of those mob stories. Never veering into uncharted territory, never taking the big weird risk its immediate predecessor did. It's an issue made all the more glaring by the times the story does happen to brush up against something more interesting. Yeah, missions deploys you to break a strike at a local quarry, and then games in the car on the way to the mission. Reference to your boss's early days at on Union busting muscle multiple times, and then that's it. Okay, this guy also had issues with not running properly. The game looks very pretty, but on my 4080 equipped machine on high settings, I ran into frequent stutters and hitches throughout the entire game. Ameliorated only a little by DLSS, load times too were bizarrely long. I feared dying in combat not because of the occasionally ungenerous checkpoints, but because it meant a loading screen that lasted far too long. I do agree with the loading screen issue. I don't know. I haven't been getting any stutters, to be honest. I do think it could be a little bit more optimized for PC. It's not really at the moment, which is an issue. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty okay. Loading screens, they weren't that. I mean, I have a 5070 Ti, so I guess I'm a little bit more of an advantage than 4080 with my PC. But for what the game is, it is phenomenally like amazingly long loading screens. Even though it's like 10 seconds, but 10 seconds it still feels a bit too long when you like die and have to respawn. It takes about 10 seconds sometimes, which is a bizarrely long loading time for a game this small. So I do agree on that one. But yeah, so there's so he doesn't like the story. It's too predictable for him. Mafia's never felt amazing it's never been terrible, but no one's writing long love letters to the gun feel of Vito's 911s in Mafia 2 or the perfectly tuned driving of Mafia 3. Indeed, as someone who really does love that game, the racing side missions were the closest I came to an old F4ing in disgust. Okay, zeroing in on the title, small project doesn't seem to have done much to help this state of affairs. If anything, veers between bland, monotonous, and frustrating when it comes to the things it actually has you do. I don't know. He doesn't really like it at all, huh? Stealth is by far the most preferable, not because it. Okay, yeah, stealth is always an give me stealth anytime. I would enjoy it. I agree. Driving and horse. I think driving and horse riding feels really good in the game. They've done a lot of work into it, and it shows. In your favor, such as you always just pick first place before the finish line, though I could be wrong, but no, I don't think that's right. I purposely tested this because I feel like when you're doing the race, like it was kind of like rigged for you to win. I purposely did bad and I actually failed. It gave you a mission fail when you lost. So nah, you could muck it up if you want to, but it is somewhat scripted. Like parts of the race is actually somewhat scripted for the sake of the story. So but that's exactly what this is. It's a story game. What do you expect? It's not a racing game. Right. So yeah, he basically has an issue with every aspect of the game. Interesting. It's almost comical. If you're going up against a named character, you can guarantee that at some point they will come charging at you from off-screen during a cutscene and knock your gun from your hand, forcing you into a mano-a-mano knife fight based around parrying, dodging, and riposting. At one point, it's a game, dude. I mean, yeah, The whole game is based around you doing like these boss fights with guys with a knife. So they sort of pivoted to that a little bit. I mean, yeah, I guess you could change it up a little bit, but they decided to go this route. It's a game at the end of the day, no matter how good the story is, which you don't like either. So I don't know. You don't seem to like anything about the game, which is interesting. Okay. Always been a champion of games with ambition. I don't know, maybe I feel like he played this on a bad day. Yeah. Decent but cliched mob story and bland, frustrating gameplay make this the weakest Mafia yet. He thinks Mafia the Old Country is the weakest Mafia in the entry. Hell no. Hell no. I do not think that. Dude, this is ridiculous. I'm not trying to defend the game in any way. I don't care, but since I have also played most of the game so far, even though I haven't finished it, I'm having a bloody good time, and I did not enjoy Mafia 3. I tried so many times to get into it, even once they did some adjusting and fixed it. I tried playing it, but I think Mafia 3 still stands to be the weakest entry in the series. This would be... this is still not the worst. But I would rank it like Mafia 2, Mafia 1, Mafia Definitive Edition, and the Mafia Old Country. So it's still then Mafia 3. So it's kind of still at the bottom. I wouldn't put it at the top. It's still it doesn't mean that it's bad though. It's still a good game. It's a pretty enjoyable time, And I don't know. I never had an issue with any of this at all. So yeah, man. It's weird that people have an issue with this. Josh, maybe you need to, give yourself a break and play it again at some point and come back to it. Maybe you did play it at a bad time. Who knows? Anyway, that is quite all right. So that's Mafia, the Old Country for you. And speaking of that, I did want to talk about another article that I came across that I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know if you remember the game called Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Good and Evil, for those who has no idea what I'm talking about because it's been such a long time. It was an old game. I used to play this Beyond Good and Evil. Let's have a look. This was Beyond Good and Evil. It was a Ubisoft game. You had a talking pig and all these cool space fights and all that. It was a pretty cool game for the time being. And like, I don't know, such a long time ago, in E3 2017, 8 years ago, they released Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer, which looked fantastic. And
I got a hot date.
I think we touched on this in a previous stream as well. This was a pretty amazing game, and it looked really good. Oh, I'm skipping ahead. But, I was so keen for this. And then it's gone silent. They even did like a new gameplay update 6 years ago
Beyond
too.
Good and Evil 2 is massive
and
in order to see what your enemies have equipped, you'll
there
need
you
your
go.
spike.
It didn't look anything super crazy, but it looked like a fun time.
Any vehicle you see, larger vessels, but your
So,
fighter ships are agile.
I feel like a lot of the mechanics that was shown in this gameplay has gone into Star Wars Outlaws, not gonna lie. So I'm not sure how that happened. Maybe they were working on the same game, maybe. But this game wasn't cancelled. It's just gone quiet. They cancelled a bunch of games, but Beyond Good and Evil 2 was not one of them. So is still to this day is not cancelled. It's still in a limbo that no one knows where it is, and apparently people are working on it still. 8 years later. And I saw this rumor on Game Grant article, which is about Beyond Good and Evil 2, which interested me immediately because I'm still waiting for this game, dude. I'm still waiting for this game. And here, the article's about the fact that Beyond Good and Evil 2 will utilize generative AI. So, I don't know what to think of that. Let's read it and see what the hell they're talking about, because I have no clue. Beyond Good and Evil 2 could be utilizing generative AI to assist with its troubled development cycle, according to a known gaming industry leaker. Although Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been in development for nearly 2 decades. Two decades. Bruh. That is a long time. I mean, nearly 2 decades. I mean, if you're a baby when people started working on this video, on this game, you're probably an adult now. The use of generative AI as a development tool for the long-awaited sequel has not officially been confirmed by Ubisoft. It's still a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. Following its initial reveal in 2008, news of Beyond Good and Evil 2's development was replaced by radio silence. Hey, what's up? Easy01P. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. We're talking about Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is a game that I think everyone's been waiting and heard nothing about. Yes, I'm on Discord. You can go to my profile and go on it and give me a follow. Yeah, I'll add you as well. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, as I was saying, Beyond Good and Evil. So this is an interesting game. We saw a lot of the game, but it just gone quiet. And like as I was saying before you joined, this was there's a lot of development updates, and it's been in development for nearly 2 decades, and now we still heard nothing about it. So it's a crazy time. And now they're talking about using generative AI to help with the development. So we're reading this article and see what's up. Following its initial reveal in 2008, news of Beyond Good and Evil 2's development was replaced by radio silence, as the project entered development hell for several years. After years of rumors surrounding the game, Beyond Good and Evil 2 would not emerge again until E3 2017, when it was formally announced as a game for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One consoles. Another trailer for the game was revealed at E3 2018, though no footage has been revealed since. In 2023, the project took an unfortunate turn with the death of Beyond Good and Evil 2's creative director, Emile Morel, at the age of 40. Yeah, that happened too. So, which is quite unfortunate. But yeah, that is definitely something that happened as well. Give me a second, guys. Go. Yeah, okay. There you go, that's better. So yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. It did take a hit with creative director being gone. And using generative AI beyond development. Yeah, okay. Let's read on. While Ubisoft has since confirmed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in the active development, they did confirm this at its Montpellier branch in France. A controversial tool is rumored to be part of the project. As reported by Comic Book, known industry leaker Nash Weedle stated that specialists in generative AI for creating NPCs have been brought into the project. Okay. Alright. I don't know how I feel about this, but let's read on. Despite Ubisoft's public claims that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was still being actively developed, Nash Weedle stated that the development was paused in early 2025 and that changing the game's name was considered as part of the process. Oh no. Oh no. Nash Weedle also stated that a new story trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2 was never released despite being ready. Oh no. If they change in the name of the game, this also means that they're probably going to turn the game into something else with, I don't know. I mean, AI, NPCs kind of gives me a bad vibe, dude. I don't know what to say about that. I hope this is not, they're not turning this into another like a useless endeavor with, crypto and all that, because they have that kind of, they love to include crypto and that kind of BS in their games, and they tried doing that before, and what's not to say they're not going to do that again. So I really hope they don't do that. I want to be on Good and Evil 2, dude. People have been waiting patiently, very patiently, for this game. Even it would have been better if they just cancelled it. Okay, let's read on. Given that Ubisoft has not revealed any use of generative AI in Beyond Good and Evil 2, all rumors must be taken with a fine grain of salt. That is true. Nevertheless, the use of generative AI in various projects has been a point of contention in the industry, citing concerns that generative AI could replace human developers in doing specific tasks such as coding and artwork. Several game developers and mod makers took a stand against generative AI usage in their projects with the creation of No-Gen AI Seal, which was inspired by Nintendo's famous seal of quality. Okay, since Steam has also made it a requirement to disclose generative AI usage in any games released on the storefront, at least 7% of Steam's library was found to be using generative AI. It remains to be seen if Beyond Good and Evil 2 will officially join those ranks. Yeah. Okay. Is it still listed on Steam? I'm curious to see. No, it doesn't come up. Doesn't come up. They have Beyond Good and Evil, the re-release. Might play that. I feel like playing that now. Yeah, so that is a very curious article, I thought. I don't know what to think. Obviously, it's a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. But it's still interesting that they haven't given up on the game, so it's still something that might be coming. But it is still very worrying that they're saying things like, again, just a rumor, it could be very much untrue, that they might change the name and use generative AI in a capacity that would just ultimately change what the game is. I don't know how I feel about that, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's do you believe this rumor, or do you think that this is something that's very much plausible for Ubisoft to do, and whether or not they would actually go ahead and do something like this, change the game entirely, including the name, and turn it into something else and not Beyond Good and Evil 2? What do you think? Let me know. Alright, so I only have about 20 minutes before I can wrap up. I have to wrap up. So before I do that, I want to get into a game that I want to check out with you guys, which I haven't checked out yet, which is called The Hell Is Us. Do you know that game? It's a game that I've been kind of curious about and wanting to play. It's not out yet, but they have released a demo to try. So we're gonna try that demo. Let me put it up. Okay, it's still booting up. Give it a second. There you go. Okay. Hell is us. I hope you can hear. You can hear? Cool. Alright, let's give this a shot. I'm gonna play with my controller because when I first booted up before on Steam, it said to connect a controller. Apparently, the experience is better on a controller. I don't know what that means, but let's give it a shot. Okay. Alright, we are in a controller now. Settings. I mean, obviously, if you're playing a game, even if it's a demo, you gotta go to settings first. Auto switch, hard is dynamic, blah blah blah, vibration mode full, cool. Sound, stereo. Yeah, I like stereo. Or headphones is better. Yeah, just play stereo. Cool. Video, borderless. Cool. Resolution. Yep. I'm gonna go with ultra, just because I'm happy. Okay. Everything's on ultra. Crank to the max. V-Sync's off. Yep. What does limit the frames per second? Attempts to avoid momentary spikes in frames rate before hardware. V-Sync default. Yeah, that's good. HDR is on. But turn that off. Does that look better? Yeah. I'll keep it off for the stream. Otherwise it just doesn't look that good. Cool. Alrighty then. Subtitles on. Controls, yeah, whatever. I wanna turn I do not want the motion blur. I hate it. I don't know why games insist on using motion blur. Alright, let's play. Combat difficulty, lenient. This is the ideal setting for players who enjoy the game's investigation and desire less of a challenge for combat. Yeah, I'll go with balance. What is this trash? Where is Battlefield? Welcome back, Zabit, my bro. You're just in time. I'm just about 20 minutes away before I wrap it up. Welcome back to the stream, brother. Battlefield's gone, brother. We can't play it until tomorrow. You'll be jumping right back into Battlefield when it's back again. So this is a game called The Hell Is Us. I don't know if you heard of this game. It's a game that's coming soon, I suppose. Let me just do like a quick background for you, my friend. Just only for you. I wouldn't do this for anyone else. Is this game called The Hell Is Us, which you can't see. This is the game I'm talking about. Nice, sounds good. So this is that game. It looks like a pretty cool RPG. It looks pretty promising. Kind of looks like it's not a Souls game. I'm not sure. It looks kind of original. So I'm really keen to check it out. There's a demo they just released that you can play on PS5 and PC. So, go and check it out if you want. And I downloaded this on Steam. So I'm gonna check out the demo together. So let's check it out. Alright, cool. I'm gonna pick balanced. Yeah, enable tutorials. The Steam gave me a warning before I started the game saying that you're supposed to play this on a controller. So I'm playing it on a controller and see what's up. For the best experience, we recommend playing Hell with the... Yeah, see, there you go. I wasn't kidding. He's saying that again. You're supposed to play with a controller. No keyboard and mouse. Let's see. Yeah. Work of fiction. Oh, no kidding. I thought this was real life. Given with the faceless monsters and all that. Just in case if you thought this was real life. Alright. The game does look pretty interesting. I can't say I've seen anything like it. It's intriguing. I'm running this on Ultra. I'm not sure how it'll run, but I cranked everything up just to see how it'll work. So let's see.
It's the truth serum.
So far so good.
It's still experimental, hence the polygraph.
Bruh. Is that the guy from Resident Evil?
But, my employers insist I use their concoction. Now, let's begin.
Jeez.
How did you get into Hadia?
Hadia is the place that you're in. Oh, creepy.
Oh, apparently.
Creepy cowboy.
Time. While it's going through your system, curious about something. Why did you do it?
Anyone in my shoes would have done the same.
I think you overestimate human beings. I don't think you realize the time, money, and resources.
Are you a human being?
You pissed off the wrong people.
Are you people?
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Is he people? He doesn't look like people.
Out of Hadia at age 5, grew up in the foster care system, and dabbled in criminal activities. You managed to pull yourself together and become a decorated soldier. After decades of trying to get back into Hadia, well, you decided to take matters into your own hands.
So officially the place is called Hadia. I remember there was some like streams and stuff before, not streams, but like videos people were doing. They were calling it Hadia.
Oh, it's
you weren't sure what to call it, so they were calling it Hadia. It's
How
Hadia.
did you get into Hadia?
Hadia.
I asked for a transfer to the UN peacekeepers who had deployed inside Hadia. It backfired. When the paperwork cleared, Hadia's civil war was in full swing and the peacekeepers pulled out. I reported to my new unit, stole some gear, and crossed the mountains.
Why come back?
Fuck. My parents. I wanted to find them.
Who?
I needed to confront them
How did you know your parents were still in Hadia?
I didn't. My only memory was that my father was the blacksmith of a village of Jova.
Getting into Hadia is just as hard as leaving. Tell me, who smuggled you out?
Graphics of the models looks pretty decent.
My mother.
I dig the
What
vibe.
happened?
She sat me down in the back of a truck, gave me her necklace, and shut the door.
She didn't say anything?
She told me. She told me. Never come back.
Right. Ooh, texture popping. Texture popping, not good. Did you see that? Boycott. Boycott. Come on. I want to start playing it. Alright. Oh, yeah. This is... Ooh. Look at that. It's kind of giving me Elden Ring Earth Tree in the distance kind of vibe. Anyone? So the water looks a bit weird. What is that on the water? What's the white stuff? It's like particles. Okay. Alright, the first thing I normally look at whenever there's a new game is how the water looks. And I gotta say, the water on this doesn't look that good. I mean, the game looks pretty good. Don't get me wrong. But that water kind of... it looks like just white particles. That's it. They have like a particle simulation with white stuff froth or something. It just doesn't look realistic at all. Not even close. Not even close. But the game looks pretty decent. Mind you, I'm running this on ultra settings, so if I put it back, this might actually look worse than this. If this is how the game looks on ultra, so it's running pretty decent on ultra. The controls are kind of weird. Has a weird like a drift to it. It's not the controller, it's the game. Almost too responsive. It's turning to, yeah, they're too sensitive. I'm just wondering whether I can change the sensitivity down a little bit. Too sensitive. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. Run. Just the normal. I can't press any button. The guy doesn't do anything yet. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, look at this. Floating things. Floating things on the ground. That's very old school, dude. Floating manual saves on the ground. That reminds me of like Quake and Doom. It feels very out of place for a game that looks realistic. You know what I mean? You'll be just walking around, you know, like a pretty realistic looking setting, and then suddenly you got a floating save icon. Weird choice. Very choice. Okay. Conversation. Investigations. They can be started with many characters you encounter. Conversation topic can be chosen based on datum, which represents a specific piece of information you have previously encountered. Cool, cool. Yeah, whatever. Let's keep watching. Judges game? Yeah, of course I judge games based on water. If water looks shit in a game, it immediately pulls you out of it. In my opinion. There was water in Battlefield and they look pretty great. You know, Battlefield games, to be fair, always look the best. They never, you know, had bad graphics. The games can be shit though. Alright. Trade.
You must be lost to
this guy had lived a hard life.
I'm afraid I have very little to offer.
Why are you a trader then?
You're welcome to stay and catch your breath. Frankly, I could use the company.
Who are you?
Who are you?
It must be.
Name's Ernest Cadell.
Who
My
are
family
you?
has tilled the earth here for generations.
That kid meme.
When the Sabinian army dug in for the winter,
I'm just being silly.
they used our
Know
home
me.
as their headquarters. I wasn't here at the time, but my sons were. When I finally came back, the Sabinians were long gone.
You mean the lack of hair? Yeah, he's been beaten by somebody.
They left my sons' bodies in the forest.
Yep.
My only solace.
Oh wow, I'm not gonna hear the sob story. Sorry. Village of... Yeah, I'm
Do you
just
know
gonna
where the village of
skip
Jova
this.
is located?
It's in Akasa Marshes. It's quite a ways from here. I'm afraid you're going to need a vehicle. Unfortunately, a group of strange
He's not very
soldiers
helpful.
arrived here last night in an APC. Perhaps you can ask them for help.
Yep.
It's not the first time I've seen them.
Yep, cool.
Where
More
can
questions.
I find the APC?
They parked their APC just beyond the woods, to the north. Once in the woods, I hung them in the trees so my sons would stop getting lost when they were children. Setharus, bless their souls.
I don't know what that is. A key for the fence leading from the cattle farm into Sanedra Forest, obtained from Ernest Cat. Okay, cool. Yep, thanks for the key, my friend. I'll just leave you alone now. Okay, you can travel between areas with the vehicle. Good to know. Ooh, trade. Nothing to trade. Cool. Pretty useless. Let's go back to the floating save icon in the middle of the forest and save the game. There you go. So there's no HUD. I'm trying to figure. Oh, there's a lot of texture popping in the game. Weird. Could be because I'm running it on ultra. Yeah. I'm just gonna test something. If I put down the graphics to just very high, maybe that'll help. Let's check. No, texture popping is still an issue. Didn't help. Yeah, the game visibly looks kind of bad on just very high settings. I mean, going back from ultra. Interesting. I'm just going back to ultra, and yeah, the game looks much better on ultra. Everything just cranked up. Just on very high, it starts to look visibly bad, which is very interesting. Which tells me the game might not be as optimized as I hoped it would be. Still got a long way to go. This guy is very slow. Oh, okay, you can run. He's kind of floaty. The controls are a little bit too floaty. Can I get on the cow? Come on, you should be able to get on the cow. That sucks. Alright, open the gate. Alright, okay. Open the data pad and navigate to the investigation tab. Select your investigation, blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. Wait. Oh, the data pad. Whoa, this is giving me Fallout vibes. Very Fallout-like. My god. Cool. How is this better on a controller? I feel like this might be better on mouse and keyboard. There's a lot of clicking to do. And you can't even use the D-pad to select between. You have to like move your freaking joystick. Come on. Come on. Well, okay, so where am I supposed to go now? Okay. Drone exploration. Fallout Boy. All right. I'll keep going down this path. There's chimes. What is this supposed to do? Oh, you can just go off. Okay. Interesting. That's more. What am I supposed to do with that? Random chimes? Oh, I hear them. There's more. Okay. It's leading me to something. It's leading me to something. I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. Following the chime. Oh. Okay. We are somewhere. Who's this dude? He's sleeping. He's sleeping in the middle of the road. Heavy breathing. Someone's not dead. Ooh, this guy. He's about to die.
You found me. Epsilon 12, right?
Sure, buddy. Whatever that
Can't
means.
see shit. I've blood in my eyes.
Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Sifo 451, Epsilon 11. I got separated from my unit. They're still down there behind that door. We were on an SIC. We got jumped. I'm not sure how I got here. All I remember.
Okay.
Who has the APC key?
You gotta go
We
inside.
have a med kit in the camp we set up in the woods. What?
Who has the APC
Okay.
key?
The sergeant has.
Sorry. I'm supposed to. Okay. Bring the med kit. Where am I supposed to find a med kit from? Oh. Compass. Oh, okay. Okay, you have a compass. Oh, but it doesn't really tell you where to go though.
I need the med kit. Just follow the marked trees in the woods west of here.
Oh, it just will give you a general direction and you're supposed to follow with the compass. West. West. Mark trees. Follow the mark trees on the west. Ooh, this is cool. I like they're not doing a hand holding. Mark. Which are the mark trees? Do you see any mark trees? I'm not seeing any. I could be blind. Ah, I see them. There's the mark tree. Just follow. Just keep follow. There's only one way to go anyway. You can't. I mean, if you muck this up, just keep going west. Is that? Ooh. All right. Yes. Keep going west. This is west. You can actually go off to this way too if you want. Oh, I found something. Oh, treasure chest. Usable items. I discovered a mystery. There you go. That was actually quite cool. So far I'm digging. You can't jump. That's not good. Can't jump. Maybe you can jump later when it tells you to. But so far, the exploring I'm having fun with because it's not really telling you exactly what to do. Where's west? This way is west. Oh, yeah. I'm on the right path. Keep going. Still going. West. That's east now. This is supposed to be west. Go this way? You can't really go this way. It's blocked. You can't crouch or jump yet. Or never. I don't know. Okay, we're here. We are here. Gather. Yeah. Found the medkit. Vial of strange substance. Okay. Could be urine by the look of it. Alright. I think that's it. Observe. Unknown language. Toggle plain text. Just says unknown language. Interesting. It's keeping you very curious right off the game, right off the bat, like just as you start, which is pretty good. I'm positively curious. That's a good sign. Now, I do have an issue. I don't know how the fuck to get back. I think this way. Because you have like no sense of direction other than your compass. The water turned you off? Downside of no HUD. Yep. This is like, it's kind of forcing you to play hardcore, bro. No HUD whatsoever. You just got a basic compass with directions, and if you're lost, you're lost. Like you're properly lost. I like it. I mean, if you have a lot of time on your hand and if you take your time to play this game, you'll have a good time. It feels like. Definitely not a game that you can rush, though. Definitely not a game you can rush. You're gonna have to take your time playing it. Which tells me I picked the wrong time to start playing this game, to be honest. Oh. Yep. Give this man the med kit. Can I trade you for it?
Who has the AP?
The sergeant has it. Oh, good. You got them. Take this. You'll need it.
Ancient mechanism. Okay. Can I unlock this? Okay. Cool. Alright, anyway. I'm gonna pause right here because I'm gonna have to finish up this stream. I'm might actually open the door and then finish up. Or I want to use the ancient mechanism to see what is that. Okay. Oh, oops. More unknown language. Cool. Interact. Oh, that's the thing. Ancient mechanism. Cool. This is like Indiana Jones, but in third person. Okay, puzzles. Cool. Okay. I am... Oh, okay. I think that's a clue. That's definitely a clue. So you're supposed to do those. Cool. That was pretty straightforward, actually. And then whichever clicks. Yeah! 20-minute stream dodgy. I've been here for like freaking over 2 hours, bro. Where were you? Something opened up. Something opened up. I don't know where. Was that the door? Oh wait, there's more stuff here. Is there more unknown language? Yep. Oh yeah, of course. I forgot. How you holding up, bro? How's your fam? Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely jump right back into Battlefield tomorrow. You know. All over there, yeah, yeah. It's just you? Oh shit. It's like dungeon crawling. You know what this reminds me of? The early Assassin's Creed games where, you know, Desmond Miles is doing dungeon crawling in ancient caves and shit. Kind of gives off that vibe. Okay. Okay, cool, cool. Well, I'm here for you, my brother. If you need anything, if you wanna distract and play some games, let me know. I gotta go pick up my missus. That's why I had to end the stream. Once I'm back, I'll be jumping back in, actually. Save system. These floating manual saves are kind of putting me off. It doesn't match the vibe. So weird. So weird. Yeah. Good call, brother. Good call. Alright, well, I'm gonna pause the stream here. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about the game. It looks pretty good. So far, I mean, given that I played whole 10 minutes of the game, so far it's good. Doesn't seem like it's holding your hand, and it's letting you just go off and explore, that, which is pretty good. I'm keen to play the rest of the demo and see how it turns out. And if you haven't checked it out already, I have a impression video that I just released on Battlefield Open Beta Weekend 1. There I talk about everything I noticed, what worked, what didn't, and pretty much what to expect for the rest of the Battlefield like Open Beta for Weekend 2, starting I guess tomorrow, and hopefully for the main release. It's a fun watch, go check it out. And I also put out another video documenting my time at Mount Hotham. Oh, you seen it? Good man. Thank you, my bro. There's another video out documenting my Mount Hotham trip, which is up on my other channel. Yeah, shotgun nerf for sure. 100%. They have to. It's too OP. Check out the Mount Hotham video as well, which I think is a really fun watch. It's just me being silly and goofing around most of the time. So there's a whole 20-25 minutes of that for you to watch if you haven't had enough of me already here. So alright, I'm gonna end the stream, and thank you for sticking around for all this time. And Savid, thank you for joining at last minute, bro. I know you're flying, so I'll give you a pass for this one. But I'll be streaming again on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. And I'll be jumping into Battlefield. I'll be doing a Battlefield stream on Saturday, if not early, but I'll keep you updated. Check my schedule when I update it. Zavid, bro, we gotta join up and play.